Hello and welcome to where I find my ships. Today we're going to be quickly exploring why you don't need shields in Starfield and using the exploit of ship speed to highlight the fact that combat in Starfield is kind of broken right now. Depending on how you're playing the game, of course. What you can do is get the lightest, smallest ship, make sure you have the 3015 engines on it so you can get some crazy fast speeds, throw in a Class C reactor so you can get a ton of the Class C turrets, whack that all onto this tiny little thing, and we're using the Hellhound here, which is the fastest ship in the game outside Guardians. That's base ships, of course. And we're throwing this all on. We're going to go and solo the key on very hard. The reason we're going to do that is just to illustrate that speed is absolutely broken and that you don't need a shield in space combat in Starfield. If you're going to build a ship like this, you can actually divert all your power to your weapons, making ships like this almost untouchable. Now, this is replicatable. You can do this 1,000 times over. The outcome's going to be the same. But the key point here is, though, since we're using a really fast ship, we're going to point all the weapons facing backwards because everyone's always going to be in the rearview mirror. You can solo Alpha Centauri. You can solo any area in this whole game using a build like this. You become untouchable. The only things that can really ever get close to you are other Hellhounds or other ships with the 3015s. But you've got so many particle weapons, they just get melted instantly. This is an extremely potent build that pretty much will beat everything in the game. You can verse legendary vessels. There's not too much that is going to stop you. So that's where I'm going to leave this. I'm just going to show you the gameplay of how you can solo the key using no shields on a ship that has barely any hull, but is absolutely stacked with particle turrets and has the speed, which really highlights how this game currently functions. Speed is everything, and that's why it's really hard to build hauler ships and survive in very hard difficulty. And that's where the real challenge and skill comes into shipbuilding, flying, piloting. So if you ever really want to challenge yourselves, go for those big hauler builds, come out to the key, see how it goes, because that's the real test. Or even just a medium speed ship. But yeah, speed is everything. And if you really want to challenge, check out this video on the right hand corner where we try a very particular build, solo the key, which is extremely challenging. I still haven't done it yet, but I palmed it off to the community to see if they can figure it out. But you can see here as we enter the key, we can just speed by all the ships, just doing back and forth. But you can see here, it's just, there's nothing they can do. They can't catch up. They can't get in range. What they do fire is missing because we're moving so fast. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, but obviously the faster the ship is that you're trying to hit, the less likely you're going to hit them. Even with particle weapons, when they're on the outer reacher of the range circle. But it's a really interesting and broken kind of way to play the game if you were just whipping around looking for combat battles. But this really highlights how broken speed is in Starfield. With particle weapons, with a Class C engine reactor, it's just insane. Now, I do have one bar shield, but that's just because I couldn't be bothered getting rid of the companion that gives you that. But don't need it. Doesn't really make any difference. I have to repair a couple times because in this particular Crimson spawn, they had some of the faster ships. But yeah, you can replicate this as many times as you wanted to. But I don't know how you could introduce a challenging way to incorporate combat and challenge yourself with vessels like this, because there's nothing really in the game currently that can really test high-speed ships. They're just not sort of programmed or built with weapons that can really tackle this kind of small ship packed with particle weapons. So I don't know where this will go, but it's just kind of crazy to me. It's completely broken. These are the best ships by far in the whole game. There's nothing that can come close to building ships like this in terms of combat. Now, if you compare doing the key with a small fast ship to doing with a heavy, brutal, huge hauler using weapon tricks, like where you switch all your weapons to one side, focus DPS onto certain vessels so it's not spread, which gives you a bit more time, which will help kill enemies faster. It becomes near impossible to do this key challenge with ships like this. And this is where the real skill really gets involved, I believe, with shipbuilding, is trying to figure this out. Building a super hauler, soloing the key on very hard consistently. But you can see here, it just goes down so quick. You got no speed, you can't get anywhere. Plus, when you throw in the damage multipliers through NG+, now I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but as you go through NG+, the difficulty actually increases slightly. And by the time you get to NG+, it's quite a noticeable difference in difficulty from very hard on NG1 to very hard on NG10. There's a great video on it. It's called I Solved Starfield Damage Calcs. Definitely check it out. It's really cool because it's a very hidden difficulty that's not oftenly talked about. But let me know what you think. Is speed absolutely broken? Would you use a ship like this? Doesn't have much cargo, so it's kind of useless in every other scenario. But I mean, there's some sort of middle ground you could find. But yeah, let me know what you think. I think this is a really interesting topic and something I haven't spent a lot of time exploring, but just recently was touching and testing sort of ship speed. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. And I'll just leave you with another Crimson run. This time I was just using the forward view, and this time we had plenty of the Mark III spawn. Using this this camera mode definitely took a lot longer, but just interesting to observe anyway, so I thought I'd include it. But yeah, that's me done. Peace.